Well, hi everybody. Happy Sunday to you. Hey, Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates, and let me make sure that I'm in frame. And I am so happy that you joined me. Tonight I am sharing some alternatives that I came up with for the latest paper pumpkin kit. It's called Exploring in Color. I think this kit is fabulous. I love all of the possibilities. I actually ran out of time with so many ideas floating around in my head uh, for alternatives. So I only stopped at 4 cards. Well, actually, I'll show you when we get there. So better get going. Quit talking, Linda. These are the ones based on the directions. All right. So this is what the kit makes. It is 3 of each of these designs. So what is awesome with these is the scenery is also on the back. So this is where all these possibilities came as far as being able to use both the front and the back to create some cards. So that's what I'm going to do here. And let me just show you this one as well. There were also add-ons, and I'm going to show you those here in a moment because I used one of them on a card and created with it. So you have endless possibilities. Now, I know I said 4 cards, but one design, I got 4 cards out of it. So I'll show you, I'm just going to show you one of these. I'm not going to make you sit through watching me make all 4 of them. But here's the one using one of the add-ons. And then this one actually uses the stamp set only that is in the kit. So, all right, so let's get started here. Let me make sure I have my paper trimmer because I just wanted to show you how I did this. So I don't know if you remember me talking about a group of us friends getting together, working on paper pumpkin kits, coming up with alternatives just so we could use them up. Well, my friend Sandy created a card. I really liked the layout of it, so I used the very same thing. So thanks, Sandy, for the idea, and that's where this card came from. Now let me just show you. This is the card itself that I'm using from the kit. So as you can see, this is the front portion of the card, and I have now, this is the back portion that I'm going to use to create. So let me just put this off to the side and let's get some things here. So I actually pulled out some gray granite. It's my top folding, my favorite way, which is the 11 by 4 1/4, scored down the middle at 5 1/2. I also have this piece, which, like I said, is the back of the card base. So I've already cut it down to 5 1/4. Now, what also is then across, it's 3 3/4. So I went ahead and cut that down, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a moment. Here is this Moody Mauve piece, is actually from the kit, and I just cut a strip here. It's like, I don't know, 5/8 of an inch wide. Here, the white strip, so just enough that I could fit the words happy birthday in. You adjust it as you need based on your sentiment. So this is actually from the kit using the copper clay ink spot that was in the kit. I also used one of the elements in there, these binoculars. And let's get started now. Let me see if I can dig out my paper trimmer. You're going to hear a lot of stuff probably falling, and all right, let's see. Like I told you, things are falling. This is not the current paper trimmer. Once again, my other one, it has been borrowed, so I keep forgetting to get it back. So anyway, let me go ahead. What I'm going to do is take this, and I'm going to cut 1 inch off on each side. Because this is a pattern, I want to make sure that I keep that pattern aspect going. So instead of going 1 inch and 1 inch, I'm going to do 1 inch on the left side, 1 inch on the right side. So I'm going to line this up. Here is the 1 inch over here on this side. I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. Let me just flip this over so I can now do the 1 inch on the left side. And here we go. So here are the pieces. Let me move this off to the side. I'm going to be pulling it back in because I want to just show you something real quick that I'm on another card. So now here are the strips. So we have the 2 1 inch and then 1 3/4 is what this is in the middle. So we're just going to go ahead. Let's see what I mean as far as wanting to maintain that pattern on it. So, all right. This is what I like to do is I like to start on one side with my strips like this. If I can just get some glue that works. I have so many like partially used bottles of glue around that I can never find the one that is good and ready to go when it comes time for my live, it seems. Okay, so first strip is down. Now I'm going to go ahead, get the second strip on the right side, get that one put down. So I like to put these on either side and then fill in the middle. So let me just turn this sideways here. All right. All right, and now here comes the piece for the middle. And just sort of get it in there as even as possible. And there we go. Now I have my happy birthday. Like I said, it's layered up on this piece, this Moody Mauve banner strip that came from the kit. I have my dimensionals on the back of it, so let me go ahead and get that down. I also want to just make sure, I should have done this before I peeled that off. I want to get my binoculars on there too. That way I know I have them placed properly. And now I can set this down. I want to get up high enough. I don't want to cover up too many of those trees because I think they're just so beautiful, all of these pictures. And they make use of all of the colors, all of the new in colors. So it's pretty awesome. I am going to bring in now, these are the in color dots. So let me get, where is my pick tool that I want to use? Here it is. And I'm actually going to use the smallest of the dots. And I'm going to just grab a couple different colors. So I think this one, I love this copper clay. Let's get a Moody Mauve in here. All right, and then I think I will get, let me get the wild wheat. Oops, maybe. All right, so there we go. And that's it. So now I'm using some of the elements from the kit, and I've used one card base and created 2 cards with it. Pretty simple, huh? So let me put these off to the side. Let's get going on the next one. And the next one is the one that created the 4 cards. So here are the 4 cards. All the same, just some mass producing here. So let me just show you real quick. the pieces and parts for this. And one little kind of minor thing that I did to kind of change it up a little bit. So here it is. This time colors I'm going to change up a little bit. I have a Mossy Meadow card base, 4 of them actually, the top folding kind. I also have the Pebbled Path, which is then the 4 by 5 1/4. So this is what everything will get then attached to. My Sentiment, again, inked up in the copper clay. And then my Moody Mauve, this is just some cardstock that I added on. This is like 2 1/8 inch square. 2 1/8 by 2 1/8 is what this layer is. The white I just cut out using my Stylish Shapes dies. Speaking of the copper clay, I have this little piece. It's just 1/4 of an inch wide and 5 1/4 inches long. Let me just bring in then the sample. Again, I just have it changed up here. I have the copper clay card base, and this is wild wheat right here then. So let me bring my paper trimmer back in because I do want to show you what I did for this piece here. This is the full card base, of course. I've already gone ahead and cut it down to 5 1/4. All right, so the height of it is at 5 1/4. Now, each of the pieces here are 2 inches. All right, so let's just go ahead and I'm just going to start trimming those. And let me just make sure I have this so you can see it. So 2 inches for the left side or the back of the card. I don't think you can see it, but here's the score line for this card base. So now let me flip it over. I'm just going to do the 2 inches again because I want to show you something. What I did to just kind of change it up a little bit. And 2 inches again. And now I have my 4 of my 2 by 5 1/4 inch strips. All right, now I wanted to keep it easy as far as the cutting goes. Now, because this one got just a little bit of that canoe that's in the water, 2 things you can do. I didn't like that, all right? I found that very distracting. On one of the cards, on the card that I created using this one, let me see if I can find it right here. I just cut it down to 1 3/4 wide instead of the 2. And that way I was able to get that piece of that canoe out of there. The other option that you can do is when you go to put it on the card, you can have it be, which is what I will do here. I want to just show you. You can actually put it on the right side. On my sample cards, they were all on the left. Don't ask me why. That was just the way it went. But I can also use this 1/4 inch strip to cover that up and I'll be good. All right. So I'm going to just go ahead with this, keep going. The other ones then instead, let me just show you real quick. All I did, like I said, they're all on the left. That strip is just kind of butted up against it. So any way you want to do it. So let me go ahead. I'm just going to go with this one. Like I said, just a little bit different than what my sample is. So I'm going to keep it at the 2 inches. But I'm going to adhere it to the right side of this Pebbled Path panel. Wow, say that 5 times fast. Then, instead of having it right up against, I'm actually going to put it right across the edge here. So let's go ahead and do that. So right here, I'm just gonna start putting my glue, just a thin strip of it. And now I'm just going to lay this strip down and have it right along the edge of that card base piece. And there we go. So, you know, whether you have it on the right side, the left side, totally up to you. So now let's go ahead and get this adhered down to the card base. And then I do have my sentiment ready to go. Oh, right here it is. With dimensionals, of course. Just popping that here. And now all I'm going to do is add one of these dots down here in the corner, just right here in the corner. I'm going to go with the boho blue this time. Let's just put that right here. And this is just, like I said, I'm only going to do one because I figured the rest are done all the same. But now you kind of get the idea that all you have is that little strip on the side. So, all right, card number 2 is done. Now let's go with card number 3 is the one that uses the add-ons. So here is what that looks like. Let me bring in some more. So the add-ons were 3 designs of cards. So now this time though, the design is just on the front. The back is the color, this one, the copper clay, there's the blue, there's the mauve as well. So it comes with the envelopes also. So here is the one example. Here is another. And here is the third. I just love these. I think they're fantastic. So what I did for this card, wouldn't it be nice if I could find it? Oh, here it is. So what I did for this card is I cut again the card base down. I used both, again, the front and the back of it. I cut the front down to measure 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and then the back, with this one being the copper clay, is then 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere these 2 pieces together. If you, I like having just that little hint of color showing in that layer. So if you prefer having it, you know, adjust your measurements to the way you like them. If you're okay with this just little itty bitty bit showing through, then go for it. Otherwise, feel free to change up, like I said, the measurements. Wild Wheat. This is a top folding card again. I think all of them are. So let's go ahead and adhere this straight down now to it. I just wanted to pull out some of the colors, which is basically all of the in colors, and then a few others, like the gray. I wanted to just go a little bit lighter than what the pebbled path is. So that's why in my first card, I pulled out the gray granite, pulled in the mossy meadow. This happens to be Daffodil Delight. So I have, again, another 1/4 inch wide strip of that. And I made this time I double bannered both ends of this strip. And it's a little bit over, it's like 5/8 of an inch wide, so I could get that all fit on there. So what I want to do is get some glue, just a strip of glue, a line of glue down there, and let me just add this strip. I cut it long, that way I could decide how long I actually wanted it by being able to trim it. So now there it is. The joys of glue allowing you to move it around is also the curse. Because just when you think you have it exactly where you want it, then it moves on you. So, all right, so I'm just going to trim it down. There's no rhyme or reason to how much I trim off, but there it is. Now, before I go ahead and adhere this down, I thought I would put a little bit of twine on it, or linen thread, excuse me. The linen thread was included. It's part of the kit. So let me just wrap some around. And then, now I have this. I wrapped it around 3 times. And now I'm going to kind of twist it. So it reminds me of a figure 8 by the time I'm done. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this to the back. Several ways of doing this. You can use washi tape to adhere it down, which I have here. Too bad I didn't pull some off before doing this. Let me see if I can do that. Oh, there we go. So you can just pull a little strip of that if you have Scotch tape, whatever you like to use. So let me get that. Hold that down in place with the washi tape. So play with it as you want. If you wanted to take it off and make it a little bit smaller, move it anywhere you want. So after that is done, now add your dimensionals. And I can't seem, oh, there they are. Oh well, I've already grabbed some of the black ones. Now I noticed that my washi tape was starting to kind of pull up, so I'm going to make sure that I get a little bit of that underneath the dimensional just to make sure it stays down. I'm trying to avoid where the linen thread is with the dimensional, because I feel like it just then adds, it's not even whenever you go to put it down then. It kind of puts a little, because there's just a little bit of that thickness with a dimensional on top of it, just kind of makes it wavy or bumpy, whatever. So I try to avoid that area with the dimensionals. So go ahead and let's get this popped down. You kind of have to see exactly what looks best, so you're not covering up too much of the beauty of the card base, or this panel here. So, all right, next, what color do I want to use? There is a tiny bit of the mauve in here, so let me get that. I'm going to use one of each size here of these dots. I love these because they're, number one, adhesive, already is on it. Number two, they are relatively flat, so it makes for good mailing. And number three, they just add that nice pop of color. Not too distracting or anything, so just perfect. All right, so there we go. Card number 3. How about that? So I feel like I'm doing okay on time. One more to go. So, oops, let me grab all the parts I need for this final card. I'm using the stamp set that came in here. So let me show you that and the sample here. So I went with the blue, the boho blue, the moody mauve, the copper clay. So here we go. Copper clay card base. Top folding. I have a piece of the Whisper White. Why do I say Whisper White? Let's go with basic white instead. 4 by 5 1/4, and I ran it through the Ferns embossing folder. I thought it was very nature-esque, which I feel like all of this is in regards to is very nature themed here. So that was done. Here is my strip of the mauve. It's 1 inch wide. and then as long as you want it to be to fit your sentiment. You'll see I trimmed off the one end, and I'll explain that in a moment. Boho blue, 5 1/4 by 1 3/4, because my white squares that I cut out are 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. I stamped those elements on from the stamp set that's in the kit using the copper clay ink. So, and I have them all with some dimensionals behind. Now, I thought this would be a fun card for going on a trip, wishing someone, you know, a good adventure, whether it's a trip or a move, if they're moving. So another adventure in the move. Okay, so let's get started here. I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment down first. It fit perfectly. And then I'm going to add this 1 3/4 inch wide panel right over top of it. So I wanted it as close to the edge here. I could have it extend out over, but I don't know. I liked it flush with this side of this panel. So let's get some glue on that. Doesn't matter where. For this, I had some other places that I tried putting the sentiment, just wasn't happy with them. This is what I liked right here. So here we go. Let me get now this piece on. I am going to wait until, let me turn this upside down, sorry, just so I can see the top, the bottom, and the sentiment where I'm at there. So the thing with when you do embossing is it does kind of shrink your cardstock a little bit. So I wanted to not put this down to my card base just yet until I got this piece on, because as you can see ever so slightly it does hang over. So let me just trim that off. And now this will go down to the card base. Now, you know I love my dimensionals. I use them and overuse them. I use a lot, I agree. But if I have a piece that is embossed, I am not afraid to put my liquid glue on that. I just feel like I want that glue to get into all the nooks and crannies, so it will lay flat. All right, so let me do this. Hold that down. Now you can just arrange these pieces now however you want. And once again, just like with that first card, I'm going to do the top and the bottom one and then fill in with the middle piece then, or that middle square. So here we go. So there's that one. And then after this, all it is the putting on the embellishment. So let me get this down. And now into the middle we go with this last one. So this is just the way I like to do it, as opposed to starting at the top and then finding out, uh-oh, I don't have them spaced out quite as evenly as I had wanted to. So, all right, bring those dots back in. And I am going to go with the pebbled path once again. I know I often try and change it up so you can see the variety of options that you have, but I do. This is what the one I really like, so I am going to go with that. All right, and there we go. This is the card now made using the stamp set only. That's included in the kit. So I just thought I would kind of change it up a little bit. All right, so let me bring these all back in. So the stamp set, and this is the one that used the add-on. I don't know here which one is my favorite. And then I have all of the ones. This is the one I made of the 4 cards. So let me add this one right in here. Okay. So here we go. Here are some alternatives for you for this gorgeous Exploring in Color paper pumpkin kit for this month. If you are interested in subscribing to Paper Pumpkin, please let me know. You can go to paperpumpkin.com and my name, Linda Anderson, add that in as your demonstrator, sign up, and you're going to be getting some really beautiful kits each month. I have now made it a goal that each month I will share some alternatives with you on my Facebook Lives, so you will always have something else to fall back on. So hey guys, I really thank you for joining me tonight. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this with the kits. So have a great week, and I will see you back here next week. Bye now.